Right, so welcome back to another video on this channel. Chelsea nil, Wolverhampton Wanderers nil in Thomas Tuchel's first game in charge of Chelsea, and his reign does of course start now with a point against Wolves. And you know what, I'm not going to be too harsh on him because obviously he's only been in the job 24 hours and he's only actually had one proper training session with this squad, so you can't ask for absolute miracles in that time frame. There's definitely positives and negatives to take from this game. Of course, the main negative being the fact that we didn't get 3 points against a team who are of course obviously struggling at this moment in time in Wolves, and in fact their last actual win in the Premier League was against us when Frank Lampard was manager in mid-December. But yeah, definitely some positives to take. I do think number one being from the minute go, I think there was a lot more urgency in terms of our attacking sense. I think there was a lot more speed in terms of transition from defence to attack, so obviously those two main changes from Thomas Tuchel's style of play compared to Frank Lampard's. And obviously I don't want to go in too hard on Frank Lampard. I'm not going to go in on him at all because obviously I'm still one of those people that doesn't really agree with first of all his sacking, and second of all the nature of his sacking, so I'm not going to, you know, diss Frank Lampard whatsoever. But yeah, I think we actually created quite a few chances overall. I mean, we absolutely dominated the entire game in terms of possession, which obviously can be seen as a positive and a negative in some senses because of course football's all about putting the ball in the back of the net, and of course we didn't do that tonight. But yeah, overall I feel like the cutting edge in that kind of, you know, domination of possession, that is something that will be developed as time goes on under Thomas Tuchel, and I think that would be really unrealistic of me and for obviously of course Chelsea fans in general to expect absolute miracles in terms of an attacking sense after, you know, only one training session and only him being in charge of Chelsea for 24 hours. So yeah, in terms of the lineup, I mean, I thought there was a lot of surprises in that lineup, and I'm sure no Chelsea fan on this planet, unless you're absolutely whacked off on drink, would have actually predicted that lineup, because Callum Hudson-Odoi starting at right wing back first and foremost. Timo Werner didn't even get to feature overall. It was Olivier Giroud that did start the game, and obviously Tammy Abraham came on off the bench. It was almost like a 3-4-2-1 with kind of, you know, Hakim Ziyech and Kai Havertz as kind of inverted wingers slash, you know, 2-10s, which I thought was very interesting, and I thought the two of them did actually play really well. We're trying to create things for Olivier Giroud. I think it was a style of play that didn't really suit Giroud. I thought we needed to play someone like Abraham or Werner who could be able to get in behind, had that bit more pace, had that bit more, you know, yeah, just pace overall, I would say. But yeah, I thought Ziyech and Havertz in that kind of inverted winger slash, you know, number 2, number 10s role, as I did say, I thought that they were, you know, getting on the ball a lot, trying to create. It's probably the best I've seen Kai Havertz play in some time for Chelsea. I mean, there was an instance in the first half where he just drove right at the Wolves defence, and I'm not going to, you know, as I said, diss Frank Lampard whatsoever, but it did feel like Kai Havertz was a little bit restricted in under Frank Lampard, and I think that the one thing that Thomas Tuchel has done, especially in that game, was, you know, give Kai Havertz a bit more of a free roam, allow him to do what he wants on the pitch, and you definitely saw that more today, and hopefully now we can see the best of Kai Havertz that we did see at Bayer Leverkusen last season and in previous seasons, and with the German national team, and yeah, hopefully Havertz can now silence some of the doubters, because I do think he'll be a very crucial player under Thomas Tuchel in this new regime. I thought Callum Hudson-Odoi actually in right wing back as well, even though there was a lot of critics at the start of the game for Tuchel's decision to play him right wing back. I actually think that Callum Hudson-Odoi was personally my man of the match alongside Mateo Kovacic. I thought Hudson-Odoi was doing really well at driving down the right wing, and overall I think that he was actually mainly playing as a right wing, and Chilwell probably on the other side playing as a left winger as well. There wasn't really much defensive duties for the two of them in those so-called wing back positions. So yeah, overall very promising once again from Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's been our best player for a long period of time now, since of course this bad run did start under Frank Lampard, and yet again really impressed and really shone above everyone else in this Chelsea team tonight, I think. I also want to give Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic some credit, because of course two players that have been, you know, kind of singled out by Frank Lampard, not singled out I should say, probably, you know, I'd say undermined in terms of the starting lineup. They weren't really involved too much at the latter stage of Frank Lampard, and yeah, tonight actually did really well in my opinion. They both absolutely dominated the midfield, controlled it for 90 minutes, and I think that especially Mateo Kovacic, I think he'll be a really important player to this Thomas Tuchel system, because as we saw from Thomas Tuchel tonight, I mean, one of the main things that he wants to do in this team is to transition from defence to midfield to attack very quickly, and Kovacic is, you know, the ultimate midfielder at doing that, because he's very good first of all at beating the press, he's very good at press resistance, and you know, when he picks up the ball he likes to drive forward and create chances, and obviously drive Chelsea into the attacking phase of play. So I think that Mateo Kovacic will be a very important player in this Chelsea system, and I think will be very much rejuvenated and reborn in this Thomas Tuchel system. My only one criticism of Thomas Tuchel tonight would simply be the fact that I think he made the subs a bit too late, because I think all 3 subs in Christian Pulisic, Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount actually did change the game quite a bit when they came on. We looked a bit more, you know, sharp going forward. We looked a bit more, had a bit more of a spark, I think, and yeah, overall I think that if he had made those subs, you know, 10-15 minutes earlier, I think we probably could have got a goal, because I think we created a lot better chances towards the end of the game when those 3 subs did come on and gave us that outlook. And yeah, overall I think that that's the one criticism I have of Thomas Tuchel tonight, because of course I'm not going to blame him on anything else, because as I said, he's been in a job for 24 hours. He's only had a few hours hours of training with this team. He barely even knows any of these players, and yeah, I think that's the only criticism I would have, is the fact that he did make his subs probably 10 minutes too late. And yeah, as I said tonight, it was simply just pure possession, if I'm honest. I mean, I'm interested to see what the possession stats actually were, but I'd say it was at the very, very least 70-75% possession to Chelsea, because of course, as we know, we all expected Wolves to do this, and they do it really, really well in fairness, and we were lucky to actually not be 1-0 down, because I think Pedro Neto and Daniel Podence in particular had some quite good chances, especially in the second half. Wolves were just going to sit back, soak up the pressure, try and catch us in the break with that pace of Traore, Podence and Neto, and yeah, overall I think that they defended really, really well and limited the chances we could create. And I think once actually Thomas Tuchel does implement this style of play, does get a few more training sessions, I think that, I think the cutting edge will come naturally in training and with the way this team does play, because I think a lot of people would have expected this game to end goalless, because, when a manager has that amount of time to actually set up a team and train a team and prepare a team, I think you can't really have any complaints as to why we weren't absolutely blistering for the 90 minutes. In terms of the lineup as well, I actually did notice he went for a highly experienced team with the likes of Cesar Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Antonio Rudiger, even Hakim Ziyech, you could say, Olivier Giroud up front, Jorginho and Kovacic in midfield, obviously Mendy in goal, who's 28 years of age as well. Very little youth in the team. I mean, like Mason Mount, Reece James, Tammy Abraham, Christian Pulisic all starting on the bench. I actually think Pulisic was going to start, but apparently he picked up a minor knock before kickoff. But yeah, I think that Thomas Tuchel's main idea, and I actually think he said it in the press before the game as well, that the main reason why he went with such an experienced side is because, of course, it's a very difficult time for the club and this squad. I mean, we've gone on a massive, massive losing streak at this moment in time, and confidence is probably going to be low at this stage because of the results we've been having. I think it was important for him to go with experience, players who've been through the thick and thin of those kind of times in their career, and yeah, I think that was the right decision from him overall. And yeah, overall, I just want to say, there's obviously positives and negatives to take from this game, as I said, and I'm going to be really patient with this process because, of course, as I keep saying, and as I will keep saying, he's only had 24 hours to actually set up this team, and even still only a few hours of actual training and setting up this team and adapting his players to this style of play that he does want to play. And overall, I think that we'll get a clear identity of where Thomas Tuchel is taking this Chelsea team in, a month or two. And as to, whether Thomas Tuchel can get us into the top 4 this season, I personally stand on this. I think it's going to be really, really difficult, because I think at this moment in time we're well away from those teams like Liverpool, City, United, Leicester, Spurs, even you could say Everton, Southampton, even Aston Villa, West Ham, who are 4th now. But I'm not going to properly judge this team until Thomas Tuchel actually gets this team playing in like a month or two, because I think it's too much of an ask for him to, come in and just absolutely change this team absolutely magnificently in, the short space of time. And I'll make my full mind up as to whether I think this team will get top 4 in like a month or two's time. And yeah, we have some very tough games coming up. Of course, we have Burnley at home, who did get themselves a very good win, a 3-2 win over Aston Villa at Turf Moor tonight, so they'll be full of confidence, especially after the result against Liverpool at Anfield last week. And then, of course, next Thursday we have Tottenham away, which is going to be an absolutely crucial game, and if we can come away with 3 points in that game, I tell you, Thomas Tuchel will take himself some massive credit from Chelsea fans, and I think they will definitely take to him more than they are right now, especially with Frank Lampard's departure, who a lot of fans are still upset about. But yeah, a new regime, a new era in Chelsea Football Club with Thomas Tuchel, and yeah, we've definitely seen some positive signs, as I said, and definitely some reason to be excited in the Thomas Tuchel era, even though a lot of people, including myself, are still, of course, upset about the dismissal of Frank Lampard. But yeah, definitely some positives to take, and definitely will be a more positive game on Saturday, or Sunday, I should say, against Burnley, and hopefully we can see more of that style of play, but with a few goals in Burnley's goal. And yeah, so I think that is where we're going to leave this video. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like. 20 likes as per usual will be massively appreciated by myself as always, and if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be massively appreciated by myself, because we are looking to hit 1,300 subscribers as soon as we possibly can. And yeah, if you were to hit that subscribe button, it would cost you absolutely nothing, and believe it or not, would make my day a whole lot better. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thomas Tuchel era begins with a point against Wolves at Stamford Bridge in a 0-0 draw, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.